And Duke football went on the road to Northwestern. I believe that's in Illinois. Was able to defeat Northwestern 26-20 in double overtime. I ended up not watching the end of this game, but I was surprised that they were able to come back. I think they should have actually won it at some point in the fourth quarter, but sadly they had to go to double overtime. But luckily they were able to steal this one against an okay, Big Ten team, not one of the greatest, but I believe right now Duke football leads the nation, or at least FBS, the Division One schools, in tackles for loss. I think at like 27, which is really cool. So defense is definitely stepping up. Obviously, new head coach's defensive bias, so it's not that surprising, but definitely very glad the players are stepping up and getting those stats, and they're actually winning too. So very happy about that. And yeah, obviously it was a pretty good weekend for a lot of Duke players, and good luck to the rest of the guys for the rest of the season going forward. I know I should have had this out way before this last weekend, but a couple of guys did pretty good, especially contracts-wise, getting some extensions. I know with the Jets, they have a Duke cornerback in Michael Carter II, and he got a 3-year, $30.7 million extension, which made him the highest paid slot corner in the NFL as of right now, which is really awesome. So congrats to him. And then the Kansas City Chiefs tight end Noah Gray ended up getting a 3-year, $19.5 million extension on his deal pretty much right before that Thursday night game. So congrats to him. And I think he even had some better stats, a little bit of better stats than the main starting tight end Travis Kelce that game. So yeah, that was pretty funny to see. But congrats to those guys, and hopefully congrats and future congratulations to a lot of newer and future Duke products getting some nice contracts later in their careers. And the On3 ACC recruiting rankings update has Duke at number 8, and that was pretty much just after that one commitment from that 4-star defensive lineman Bryce Davis the other day, and I think they were like 15th or 16th, maybe 14th, so pretty much doubled up, went up halfway, which is nice. And hopefully with them still winning and showing how good they still are on defense and improved on an offense as well with a nice young quarterback, then maybe they could get some other talented guys too in the 2025 class. And then Ari Robertson, who is a player for the women's basketball team, I believe she just won the 3x3 under 18 golds at that World Cup, but will sadly miss this next basketball season coming up for the Lady Blue Devils because she has to get some type of knee surgery or some type of knee injury that she ended up suffering. So that's tough. She was able to win gold for her country, but yeah, sadly we'll miss this basketball season. So hopefully a nice and quickly speedy recovery from that knee injury. And the Duke men's soccer team had a pretty crazy score the other day against Everett University. I never heard of them, which I guess is why Duke ended up winning 14-1 in that game. So they definitely threw it on them and never let go. So yeah, nice victory for them. And then the women's soccer team, yeah, it was crazy thing that happened. Apparently it's the first time they've ever beaten North Carolina in soccer, 1-0 last week. So it's the first time in their program history. And North Carolina soccer, the women's side, has been one of the better teams in the history of college women's soccer. So yeah, that's pretty surprising. I thought at least Duke might have had them a couple of times, a couple of victories, but I guess not. And then they did play another game as well against Elon, I believe, and they beat them 5-0 as well. So a nice little win streak for the women's soccer team. And then the women's volleyball team had a nice streak as well. The past 2 games, I believe they beat Davidson 3-1 and Florida International University 3-0. And their freshman Brianna Goss was named the ACC Freshman of the Week as well. So yeah, congrats to her. Definitely some big time honors. That team is looking like it's pretty good so far. Obviously a little bit lower competition, but volleyball's a crazy sport and anybody could win. It's very fun to watch. So hopefully they could have some skin in the game when it comes to the tournament later in the season. And my Chargers beat the Raiders 22-10 in LA. this past weekend, so that was good to see the Jim Harbaugh era get going on a 1-0 start. And yeah, it was a pretty good overall game. A lot of good stuff both ways, especially defensively. Offense took a bit to get going, not until the second half, but J.K. Dobbins, they're pretty much one of the two running backs, ended up stepping up, which is cool to see. And some nice defensive plays, and even like a couple of the rookies stepped up. And I think Derwin James is like one of the fastest defensive backs to reach 500 tackles since the year 2000, which is pretty cool. And then rookie Joe Alt, their first round pick, had 0 pressures between guys like Max Crosby, their star defensive end, and Christian Wilkins, a guy that paid a bunch of money to the Raiders to play on the interior of that defensive line, and he gave up 0 pressures and no sacks and all that good stuff versus both their top guys, which was awesome to see. Definitely the correct first-round choice. I think even that Ohio State receiver Harrison Jr. only had like 1 catch for like 4 yards for Arizona, so I'm pretty sure he would have done better with the Chargers. But yeah, either way, it looks like Alt was the correct choice, and even their second-round wide receiver pick McConkey scored that last touchdown that pushed them up above 20 points. That was cool to see as well. And they made a lot of movement right before this game and even after with their practice squad and some of the guys they signed to the active roster. So I'll try to read it pretty quickly. So it came to the running back, Jared Patterson. They did sign him to the practice squad, but released running back Isaiah Spiller from there. They did sign cornerback Sean Wade and wide receiver Dez Fitzpatrick to the practice squad, but released Cornelius Johnson, the wide receiver, and outside linebacker Andrew Farmer II. They signed cornerback Nehemiah Shelton to the practice squad and released cornerback Matt Hankins. And then they placed wide receiver DJ Chark on IR and then signed tight end Eric Tomlinson to the active roster. So yeah, I guess sadly Chark, who looked like he was going to be at least their second or third best receiver, is going on IR, so he'll be at least out for the next 4 games. Hopefully it's nothing longer than that, but yeah, we'll see how week 2 goes against the Carolina Panthers, who lost pretty big to the Saints, but they are playing at Carolina, so whenever you play on the road, it is always a tough game in the NFL any given Sunday, so anybody could win, but hoping that Chargers can do the same as the Saints did. And the Lakers, Christian Wood looks like he has a knee procedure he just went successfully through and will be reevaluated in 8 weeks, so about 2 months, but that doesn't mean he's coming back. He will be reevaluated at that time, and they'll see how healthy he is. I know whenever they said that about Lakers players, it's always been longer, so hoping for the best. And then they did sign Alex Fudge, the forward, pretty recently, and the guard, Jordan Goodwin. I know they have recently signed a couple guys for like a day or less than a day and released them, but hopefully some of these guys will end up sticking. And the Anaheim Ducks unveiled their new logo on their ice and on their new jerseys. It looks really awesome, so congrats that they went back to the old school look. They did have a couple injuries. One of their first round picks, I believe he was the right winger, Beckett Seneca, has a foot injury and will be out 6 to 8 weeks. And the goalie, Thomas Sochanek, has an ACL injury and is out 6 to 8 months. So they ended up signing goalie Oscar Donks to a 1-year, 2-way contract. So hopefully that's his replacement, but I don't really know how those 2-way contracts work in the NHL. But yeah, it sucks to have one of their top players from this recent draft get hurt, but hopefully he'll be fine when it comes to the season starting. So thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.